That was Saturday in Buriram. It's Sunday today for race 2 of the Asia Talent Cup here in Buriram, Thailand. It's round 4 of the championship, and this is an important circuit because it's a place where they come twice in the year. Air temperature 33 degrees, ground temperature 43 degrees. It's rising, it's hot, it's humid. It's very different to how it was yesterday, and it's a real challenge for all of our 20 contenders that sit aboard the grid here in Buriram. My name is Ben Kossinger. It's a big old crowd here in expectance of a packed day's worth of action. We've had warm-up for the superbikes and for the super sports, and now our first race of the day for our international clientele is the Asia Talent Cup. Stephen English alongside me, and it is going to be a cracker once again.
Yeah, yesterday, Ben, we saw a really good scrap at the front between Mario Aji and Noguchi. Noguchi eventually coming out on top for that to pick up another win. Noguchi, leader of the championship, picked up 2 wins and a 2nd place so far this season, and he'll be keen to get himself out to the front again in this race. We saw them break away during the early stages of the race. After 2 or 3 laps, it was pretty clear it was going to be a battle between the 2 of them for the win, and then there was a battle for about 10 riders for that final step on the podium.
And that's what we saw in Qatar in race 1, the first race of the championship. We saw the 2 of them break away, but the second race of the championship in Qatar, under very different conditions again over there, it was like a 10-horse race. Every lap was a different leader.
Yeah, and that's when Bill Van Erde, the man that started 3rd on the grid and was a podium man yesterday, finished 3rd, eventually coming out on top of that battle. He was the man that picked up the win. Really good victory from him as well. The first ever Australian winner in the Asia Talent Cup, but it was a well-fought and well-thought-out win. And we'll see what Van Erde is able to do in this race. The key thing's going to be just to make sure that you don't lose the leaders in the early stages. If you start fighting with anyone else, that really can cause a splinter within the groups. We've seen it in Buriram in the past. This is one of the tracks where if you do start fighting, you can lose ground pretty quickly to any of your rivals.
So if you've never watched the Asia Talent Cup before, you'll notice that everybody has the same bike. It's not just the same livery, it's the same identical Honda NSF250R 4-stroke Moto3 machine. All the same livery, all the same suits supplied by Alpine Stars, and all the same helmets supplied by Araib. Some of them have decided for different colours, but 2 of them on the front row have got exactly the same helmet. We're looking at the 2nd place man, Mario Aji. The grid set by the qualifying session yesterday morning, so it's the same grid as we had yesterday, and same grid for race 1. And the crucial thing that we saw from our front 2, our mature riders, was they actually didn't keep overtaking each other the whole time. They basically just settled into a rhythm, and only in 3 laps before the end, I think we saw a change of position between those front 2. Aji was very happy just sit there in 2nd place and watch Noguchi lead from the front. Noguchi was happy with that. Noguchi was happy to be passed 3 laps before the end because he knew he could fight back. The crucial thing was, for 3rd position, they just kept scrapping. They just kept passing each other everywhere. Great to watch, but not very fast if you want to catch the guys in front.
Yeah, and for all those guys in that scrap for 3rd, it really was a case of the battle's lost in terms of trying to get onto terms with the race winners, but we wanted to be able to make sure that we're still able to scrap. And we did see a lot of overtaking on the way into turn 3, turn 5, turn 12, and they're going to be the key places once again today. The one thing that we're going to have to look at, as you said, Aji, he was more than happy just to sit behind Noguchi for 3/4 of the race and just let them get away from the rest of the pack and then just have a tactical race. And really, Aji showed a lot of strength just to be able to sit behind Noguchi without trying to really pressure the Japanese rider. But once Aji did get to the front, we saw Noguchi really attack straight back as well.
Yeah, he was able to, he had the pace and he was able to attack straight back. We just had a quick look at Warwick, the number 8 bike, and he is our wild card rider to bring our number of riders to 20 here in Thailand. We've got 4 local or Thai riders competing. One of those is Warwick, and he finished up in 10th position on basically his first outing because he missed the Qatar race, being a wild card here. And that was a good effort from Warwick, the 18-year-old, one of the older of our riders. The age range ranges between 12 years old, Senna Agus, and 19 years old, Kopchai Sao Lui, who is at just 19 years of age, the oldest rider on the 23 bike. And he had a great start. He was up into 3rd position at the first corner. There's Toshiki Senda. He is 4th in our championship. Yes, he is 4th, but yes, that's really down to his results in Qatar, because yesterday he was on the outside of the top 10 places. He was really on the fringes. Never really made an impression, even in that second group battle.
Yeah, and first ended up finishing 12th, and the key thing is going to be make sure he gets off in those lead groups. For all these riders in the Asia Talent Cup, this really is as you said yesterday, Ben, this is the road to MotoGP for them. This is the first step. We've seen plenty of riders make the transition from Asia Talent Cup all the way through to Grand Prix classes. We've seen Paui's won a couple of Moto3 races. He's on a Moto2 grid, and then you've got the likes of Sasaki, a former champion, racing Moto3 for a 2nd season. If you look at the CEV Championship, even with the first round of the season this weekend, the Onsu brothers from last season, we've got Dennis Onsu, the reigning champion of the Asia Talent Cup. He's a front row starter in Estoril in the CEV. So this really does give these riders a key opportunity to show what they can do, use this as a stepping stone to the next steps in the ladder.
There is Bill Van Eerden. They're about to head off on their warm-up lap, get everything up to temperature as much as possible. Don't really need to slam on the anchors into turn 1 here. It's relatively wide and sweeping. Oh, and a problem there for Aji in the middle of the pack. He has stalled the bike. He drops to the back of the field, and he'll need a mechanic to come out and get that sorted again. He's going to be pushed to the pit lane. And does that mean a pit lane start?
Yeah, pit lane start there for Aji. We saw the same thing happen to Fakral from the pole in Qatar as well. So Aji, after yesterday's strong performance, is going to have to fight back through the field. You can see everyone now just heading up towards turn 3, just trying to get a bit of heat into their tyres and get themselves up to speed for the start of what will be a 16-lap race.
And that'll be very interesting to see then how Noguchi deals with that, because Aji was his partner in crime yesterday. They were both able to gallop away on their own, but it'd be much harder for Noguchi to do that without a partner in crime. It'd be much harder for him to just break away on his own, because unless the chasing pack behave themselves, if the chasing pack behave themselves and don't compromise each other's speed all the time, then they will basically swallow him up.
Yeah, the one thing for Noguchi is he was the man at the front, didn't actually use Aji to try and use the toe, so yeah. Noguchi will probably feel that he's still got the pace to be able to break away if there is a fight behind. But like we saw in Qatar, and like you said a couple of minutes ago, Ben, those riders in that second group, they're going to try and learn their lessons from the first race. The one thing for all these riders is there's only 2-3 returning riders into this championship. So all of these riders, every race they have gives them an awful lot more experience, an awful lot more knowledge. One of the few riders that is returning is Noguchi. He was 2nd last season, picked up a win at Suzuka, and he's been able to put that little bit more experience to good use so far this season.
And that looks like it might be terminal for Mario Aji, and that is a real disappointment. There's only 12 rounds in this championship, and he really does not need a DNF if he's going to mount a title challenge. And nothing to do with him whatsoever, not his fault. That's such a frustration. And now we have to see what the rest of the field can do about Noguchi. As we mentioned, 2 returning riders, Noguchi being one, the other being Lucky, the Indonesian 17-year-old, the other returnee rider. The rest of them hand-picked to take part in the Asia Talent Cup for 2018. It's a bit of a gap after this race. They race again in July, and then they have to wait until MotoGP comes back to Asia for their final 3 rounds of the championship, alongside MotoGP here in Buriram in Japan, and then culminating in Malaysia at the start of November. 19 riders then on the grid, with Aji in the pit lane. We're about to go racing for 16 laps around this 4.5-kilometer Buriram circuit. Watch the lights. When they go out, we will be racing here in Bahrain. Who makes a good start, winding up the throttle, getting these bikes up to momentum and up to speed. And certainly Noguchi's been swallowed up there. Noguchi is not going to lead through the first corner. He has got a nice line through the first corner though, and he runs side by side with the 19 bike of Bill Van Eerden. But up the inside comes the 5 bike of Basari. He's got our onboard camera. He's a local boy as well. And we're going to have a good fight coming down into turn 3. Camera angle makes it look like there are 5 or 6 wide. A very, very deep bike there. Toshiki Senda on the 10 bike going very, very deep, and Aji is in the running. Aji has got that bike going. Good stuff. Now he's got some serious work to do.
Yeah, and you can see Bill Van Erde with a really good start off the line, third on the grid. He was able to lead into turn 1, and Noguchi tried to attack back, but you can see on the way into turn 4 here, all these riders just fanning out, and really it's hard to find your space in these early stages of the race. You can see Noguchi trying to get down the inside. He's in P4 now.
It's really hard to find his space. It's really hard to spot what's going on there. Just a blur of red and white as they go through turns 4, which is the bravest, the fastest corner on the circuit. And then braking into turn 5, where they all fan out. And again, another braking zone into 8, down the inside for Noguchi on the number 9 bike. Puts him up 1 position, but straight away loses that position to Sao Lee. Sao Lee made a great start, great first lap in race 1, but then faded during the race. But at the moment he's getting in the way of Noguchi and allowing those front 2 just to brake. But it won't be for very long. Down the inside, the number 10 bike of Toshiki Senda looks. Can't send it. Basari leads after 1 lap. Ooh, a bit messy for a few others further back though. It's a tricky turn 12 and some elbowing going on at the back of the field.
Yeah, and across the line was Buarsi, who was leading the race at the start, and good start from him from the second row of the grid. But the likes of Senda and Sao Lee, as you said, Sao Lee yesterday, really good off the line, faded pretty quickly into that second group, but he's in the right position now to be able to try and give himself a good chance. That there's the number 7 of Aji.
Oh, no!
So Aji out of the race in these early stages. But difficult day for Aji right from the start with that technical problem on the starting grid. But you can see on the way into turn 3, everyone just trying to find their space.
It is a technical problem being confirmed by race control. So Aji's bike they got it started again, but clearly a problem with that Honda. Big shame for him. And there is a replay of him disconsolately walking away, ending his race at turn 10. Horrible, horrible way to go into the rest of the championship, because he's really going to need something special now if he wants to mount a title challenge over the 12-round championship and fight someone so experienced as Noguchi.
Yeah, and you can see Noguchi, he's up to 3rd now, and he's done a really good job of just picking off people whenever the opportunities present themselves. He's going to try and get down the inside here, and makes the move on Senda and also on the number 5 of Buarsi. So good move there from Noguchi to hit the front. He had dropped as low as 5th, but just easily able to make moves on the last lap and a half. Good stuff from the championship leader.
I was about to say that he didn't seem too ruffled about being down the pack there, but that was a slightly optimistic move. He's forced Senda a little bit wide. They both ran a little bit wide, and that did allow the number 9 bike to snatch back the lead. Sorry, not the number 9, back the number 10 bike of Senda, and he'd forced Basari wide. Over the line though, it is Noguchi who leads on the 9, Senda on the 10 behind, then Basari on the 5, and Bill Van Erde on the 19 with a little wiggle into turn 1. But unlike yesterday, for the moment we've got all the riders together, slipstreaming down this long straight down into the hard braking zone, and the opportunity to pass of turn 3. And it's a change. God, very late on the brakes for Senda. Much later than some of the others. He puts himself at the front of the field. The thing is, though, if you do that, you almost certainly get mugged when you come back down to turn 4 again. And you can see the number 9 in the slipstream. Noguchi's going to make that pass.
And Noguchi into 4 yesterday, that's where he was really strong as well. If you think into those last couple of laps, he was able to make moves on Aji in through turn 4, but you can see there Bill Van Erde just trying to get down the inside as well. Van Erde, he's managed to pick up another couple of spots on this lap, but it's still Senda out in front. Good riding from Senda to be able to hit the front of turn 3, as you said, Ben, and still manage to hold on to it through 4 and 5.
He resisted that pass from Noguchi going into 4. Van Erde then disrupted the party, ran a little bit deep. Noguchi responded, still that sits there now in the lead of the race, so he's managed to get past Senda. And Noguchi leads from Senda. Basari still there. Basari's the one with the white helmet. They come into shot. There he is, number 5. And then Bill Van Erde, the 19, just behind. I think he's going to make a move coming into 12 here. Down the inside, hard on the brakes, and slots into 3rd position already before the corner, so he can take the racing line and he can maximise the momentum and the exit from the turn. Yesterday it was kind of clear that we knew there were going to be two riders that were going to sit on the first two positions on the podium. We didn't know who was going to be third, but it didn't really matter until the last couple of laps. Here, it's much more unsure. The first 13 bikes coming by just 2.5 seconds after 3 laps. And they again fan out as they come towards turn 3. On the inside is Toshiki Senda on the 10 bike. Bill Van Erde now leading. Oh, Sender is late on the brakes, and in fact this time he's lost a couple of positions. He likes that Jonathan Ray line of deep into the first part and then cut back and try and maximise your exit speed. Van Erde leads from Noguchi right in his slipstream. This is where Bill Van Erde was strong last time going into turn 4. And again Noguchi looks to the inside and takes the position. Can Van Erde do the switchback? Not this time. No, he looks. He's almost defending there from Basari, but he does keep ahead.
And what we've seen once again from Noguchi there is anytime he gets the opportunity to make those moves, he's getting through as quickly as possible to get to the front. Solid riding from Noguchi again, and just smart riding as well. He knows that if he gets to the front, he has the chance to set the pace here and maybe bring Van Erde and Buarsi with him. As the rest of the group starts to fight, you can see a little bit of a gap starting to develop now. It's around about half a second.
Yeah, doing it in the right places. That's so crucial with these low-powered machines. Momentum is key. Keeping the speed, keeping the apex speed as high as possible. And if you start passing in the wrong places and you compromise that speed, you can easily lose half a second and easily fade into a different group, as we're starting to see now. We come to complete our next lap, on to 12 laps to go. Noguchi leads Bill Van Erde. Basari in third position. Then it's Putra. We didn't see anything of Putra in race 1, ahead of Sender. Mundanar in 6th, Sharil in 7th, and then some of our Thai riders a bit further down. Fackrell is 13th, and as we said, Aji out with a technical problem as we change the lead once again with the slipstream. Van Erde into the lead, but under brakes. He could be under attack here. No, he's not. He's strong on the brakes. Oh, he's too strong on the brake. Very, very wide, very wide. Invites people up the inside. Not quite sure if he fully committed, fully maximised that corner. Because again, Noguchi's right on his tail, and that gap that we saw last lap has disappeared again. Here comes Senda. He's got himself back up to speed on the 10. Looks to the inside at turn 4 and moves himself up into third position.
Yeah, good move from Senda down the inside of Buarsi, but still at the front. You're looking at Van Erde doing a really good job, as you said, Ben, on the way into turn 3. Just breaks in quite deep, and he changed different line compared to everyone else. He's just thinking in terms of the exit speed for that corner. You can see a replay at the start of the race.
Yeah, here's the replay at the start then. And once again, a great start, a great initial getaway from Sao Lee on the very inside line. But then he's got a very tight first corner because he's so far onto the inside. And this is on board with number 7, Aji, coming out of the pits, managing to just about get round the lap before the bike again expires. So clearly a problem with Aji's bike from the get-go. He was on the front row of the grid, the bike stalled on the grid, got pushed into pit lane. They got it fired up again, but it didn't last long. Back to live then. Plenty of laps still to go, plenty of sorting out here still to go. And absolutely anyone's as we tick on to 11 laps to go now. Noguchi leads Van Erde, but Van Erde looks to the inside.
Yeah, and we said last time around, Ben, it looked like there might have been that bit of a gap developing between third and fourth position. That's clearly gone now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All these riders right with one another, and you can see Van Erde just trying to get through on Noguchi.
Well, Van Erde led into the first corner. Noguchi's got better speed out of that first corner, and now it's kind of a defending. He's managed to put Noguchi on the outside of him, but sneaking through without anyone really noticing. Basari then picking up a double slipstream and into the lead for the Thai rider.
Yeah, good move from Buarsi to get through into the lead on the number 5 bike. And you can see Van Erde, he's going to try and get through on the run down in towards turn 4, easily able to make that move. Just with that bit of a toe from the number 5 bike. And you can see Noguchi just trying to use his speed through turn 4. Is he going to try and make a move into turn 5 now?
And Sender follows through on the 10. So Sender up to third position again. Buarsi down to 4th. And it's again Noguchi in second, Bill Van Erde leading the race through this technical section. This is where you really, one line is best, because any kind of passing move that upsets you, gets you offline, slows your momentum. To the inside, Mundanar. We saw him late in the race of race 1. Took time to get up to speed, the number 4 bike, and now he is up into 4th position ahead of Buarsi. Next overtaking opportunity then, turn 12. How is it going to sort itself out? Looking to the inside is Senda of Noguchi. Not quite close enough, not quite strong enough on the brakes. Decides to fall into line. And now they jet past this 30,000-seater grandstand here at Buriram, the circuit built in 2014. It's a pretty young circuit, and it's built specifically for motorbike racing. The guy who built it, who also owns Chang Beer, amongst other things, absolutely desperate to bring international motorcycle racing here. He knew that the Thai nationals would absolutely love it. A big appetite for motorcycle racing in Indonesia as a whole and in Asia. And we've had World Superbike action here for the last couple of years. So hitting the front then, Noguchi. Bill Benede into third position. He's out on the outside there. Now it looks more like a 4-horse race for the moment, as we've had a Boasi slip down into the second group of riders. Oh, a few of them having to sit up there.
Yeah, that was Van Erde just making that move on 2 riders through turn 4. So really brave stuff from Van Erde. We saw him take that line down the right-hand side of the track, switch back to the inside, and just able to carry that speed through turn 4. Good move from the Australian.
Plenty of sorting out further back as well. Lots of changes of position. This lead group covers about 12-13 riders, 2.7 seconds across the 13 front riders, with Fakrul at the back. Fakrul was a bit of a star in qualifying at Qatar, but had a few issues in the race. And there's a gap of 4 seconds to Paui Agis. Lucky is down in 16th spot in Yamada. Here's a replay of what happened last time going into turn 3. That's Noguchi getting up the inside of Bill Van Erde. And then looking to the inside is Sender on the 10. I love that shot. I think it's absolutely awesome. See exactly what the bikes are doing. Look how Bill Van Erde just a bike's width offline, but it allowed everyone to sneak up through the inside. That was Mundenar who went up into third for a few moments. But then one corner later, Bill Van Erde managed to answer the call once again, and he's heading towards the front for another time.
Yeah, that was an Asia Talent Cup action,
classic,
really,
yeah,
where you're seeing those positions change on a lap-by-lap, corner-by-corner basis. And Senda gets himself through into third position on Mundenar as well. But a bit of a bobble there for Senda. It might open the door for Mundenar to get back through. Yeah, very, very wide through 3, and easy pickings for Mundenar. But on the exit of the turn, Senda has got the power down early because he was wide, and therefore a little bit more momentum. And does he manage to make it through? He does slot back into third spot. There's Boasi round the outside. Oh, that's going to be very, very brave. I think he's going to make it stick, but actually somebody else snuck around the outside of him into 5. All changed then. Bill Van Erde leads, Noguchi second, Mundenar third. It was Sharil who's got himself up then into that second little group, and a little bit wide there for Mundenar. And I know the race control are looking at that. A bike on the green stuff, it's green paint rather than AstroTurf, is outside of track limits. And of course, on little low-powered bikes like this, if you can widen the track at all, then it does help. It does keep the momentum going. Yeah, when we go to the Supersport 300 season in the next couple of weeks at Aragon, we'll see a lot of riders try and do that within the next couple of rounds of World SBK. But for these guys in the Asia Talent Cup, Van Erde is doing a good job to be able to stay at the front. Noguchi, anytime that he's been able to make a move, he's tried to get straight through. So he's probably going to try and make a move into turn 1 or turn 3 on this lap. You can see Van Erde doing a good job there to keep the number 9 behind him. Noguchi, he knows in the second half of this race, this is where he needs to use his experience as one of those few riders with plenty of Asia Talent Cup experience. He needs to put it to good use. Last year, of course, he picked up a win, picked up 5 podiums, so he's able to, as a rookie, really understand exactly what he needed to do. And you can see he's trying to get down the inside of Van Erde now. 3 wide initially going into the turn, and that was a little bit cheeky there. Noguchi is kind of squeezing himself through on Bill Van Erde. It was Mundenar on the 4, wasn't able to capitalise, and looks to be a little bit compromised actually, because he's going to lose a position there to Sharil with the grey helmet. Sharil slots around the outside and up into third position. So that little squabble down at turn 3 has turned that 3-horse race into an 8-horse race again, and he'll fan out at turn 5, all trying a different bit of tarmac to get through that turn 5. But
consistently, we've got those two guys at the front. Belvanede and Noguchi have stayed at the front. They've never fallen further back than about third position. And here it was again. Great little replay. Belvanede desperately trying to tip the bike in, desperately wanting to get to the apex of the turn. And Noguchi was already there.
Yeah, we saw from Van Erde, of course, he's got that bit of confidence, Ben, from winning last time out in Qatar. So he knows that he can win in this championship, and he knows that if he's left in a straight-up fight against Noguchi, that he can beat him. It's just a case of whether or not Noguchi's able to get through and make a bit of a break. But you can't imagine anyone breaking away in this race in the final half of the race. We've got 7 laps to go, so for all these guys, it really is just going to come down to being in the right place at the right time for the last couple of laps. We've seen, as you said, Noguchi and Van Erde, they've kept first and second pretty much since those early couple of laps. I think the lowest that Noguchi fell was about 5th, and about the same for Van Erde. So anytime that they've fallen down the order, they pretty much just get straight back through to the front.
And in Qatar, race 2, it was those two that photo finished. Belvanede just coming out on top. New leader, though. That's Charel on the 21, who's fired it down the inside and taken 2 spots. I don't think it'll last very long, because it'll be tricky to keep the momentum going up towards turn 4. And indeed, Belvanede straight back into the slipstream. There is his position, starting 12th, and he's worked his way up to hit the front now on lap 10. But he's already been mugged by Belvanede and now by Noguchi. He's back down to 3rd again. Oh, hello, new one, number 8. On the inside, new white helmet to identify. That's Warwick, that's our Thai rider, our wild card rider. And again, he's another man who's been working his way up through the field. 2 different lines going on between Van Erde and Noguchi. Yeah,
and you saw there from Noguchi just through that fast turn 7, able to make the move on Bill Van Erde, but Van Erde answers straight back into 8. It's a brave move to try and make it through those right-handers for Noguchi, but he's got that confidence that comes from winning races.
This is so different and characteristic to what we saw in race 1. Noguchi was so clever in the way that he was overtaking, the where he was passing. We didn't see any real overtaking moves between him and Aji, but here he's being forced into passing moves lap after lap because he keeps being shuffled down the order. Now Charel hits 2nd position, so Van Erde, Charel, Noguchi, then the 8 bike of Warwick, and Boasi, who we saw a little bit earlier on, and Sender, they're 7th and 8th now.
Yeah, for Noguchi, he knows that if he does fall down the order, it's really difficult to get back to the front. That's why we see him so aggressive in this race, Ben, compared to yesterday. Yesterday, he knew that the goal was to work with Aji and get to the front. That's why neither of them were attacking each other. Now for Noguchi, he knows that it's all just about being aggressive and trying to push your way to the front of the field. You can see there with the 21 bike of Charel, he's pushed his way to the front on Bill Van Erde.
And also trying to go very, very wide is Putra. Another man we haven't seen too much of on the 16 bike there on the far right-hand side of your screen. Leading the race then is Charel. This is where he led last time, but it was about here where he lost the lead. Indeed, he gets shuffled back down the pack. Bill Van Erde hits the front, but Charel this time only drops to 2nd position. Noguchi 3rd. Then coming to the braking zone of 15. Oh, a little bit of a dangle there from Noguchi as he hits the front, but too deep into the turn. Bill Van Erde answers back, puts himself back up into 2nd, but at least Noguchi holds on to 2nd position there. We don't see too many dangles going on in the Asia Talent Cup, but it's prevalent in higher classes.
We've seen it quite a bit into turn 12, riders using it just to get that bike just to turn in a little bit easier on the way into the final corner here. You do tend to see it at times with even these Moto3 based machines, but it's all about just being able to have that bit of confidence to think that it's going to make a difference. If you think it's going to make a difference, it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
And you can see Noguchi now on Bill Van Erde at the front, and it's just the number 19 of the Australian that's continuing to lead here. Well, the 5 laps to go as they come across the line, and this really is now where it starts to all shake itself out. And it was around about this time yesterday, Ben, that we saw Noguchi and Aji start to fight. But obviously for all these riders in the lead group, the key thing is just to make sure you're inside that top 3 or 4 positions on that final lap, just that you're in the right place to be able to try and start making some moves.
Last time over the line, the top 12 were covered by just 2 seconds. Really anybody's to be shuffled up and down the pack. Sender was down in 9th position, but we saw him in the middle of that last lap up into 5th position, so it really is anybody's. But you've got to say the favourites for the front have got to be Van Erde and Noguchi, because they've been consistently there. Here's Putra now on the 16 bike in third position, picking up the slipstream, looking to the inside of Noguchi. Is he going to make the move into 4? He does, but he really has to square off that corner. Noguchi tries to go around the outside, has to use the runoff area on the outside of the circuit, and he therefore stays down in third position. And that has all allowed, I was about to say that's, yes, it has allowed Van Erde just a little bit of breathing space. As Putra is almost a kind of a block pass at the fastest corner on the circuit.
Yeah, it has let Van Erde open up a gap of around about half a second, but you'd imagine that this marauding group will be able to close that gap up pretty quickly on the race leader. But you can see there just the order changing all the way down that leading group now. There's probably about 12 bikes in this leading group now, so any of these guys will feel that they're in with a shot of winning this race.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we'd all concur with that. Look at that, one shot, 12 bikes. Simple maths, 2 seconds separate them all, and you can lose and gain about half a second just with a silly move. Here we go again, 4 laps to go. Van Erde's looking good at the moment. That move from Putra has really upset Noguchi. Noguchi now needs a good old slingshot down into turn 3, a big old slipstream from Putra. There's his progression from 11th on the grid. Just a little bit of readjustment going on the left-hand side, and indeed Noguchi gets past, but he's given a slipstream to Sharrell. Sharrell's now down the inside. Noguchi isn't able to do the slingshot out of the corner, so he stays in third position. And Putra gets dropped down to 4th. Yeah,
for Van Erde now with 3.5 laps to go, he is actually being able to open up that gap. It's around about 3/4 of a second now for the Australian out in front. And with everyone starting to fight behind them to get through to the front of this group, it could open the door for Van Erde to open a little bit more of a gap.
Tipping the bikes through turn 5. Oh, I'll tell you what, Bill Van Erde somewhere made a little error there because he's lost a good chunk of time in the middle sector of the lap. And look at this, Noguchi right on his tail once again. So what were you just saying? It's all changed once again. Van Erde had a massive advantage at the start of the lap, and now it's down to about 0.3. It's not even 0.3 of a second. It's 1 bike length between the two. He's got 4 laps to go, but they do have a little advantage over the chasing pack now.
Yeah, Noguchi yesterday in qualifying, he had about an 0.8 of a second advantage, so he has had the pace all weekend. But this could be the gap that allows the 2 championship leaders to open up a gap from the rest of the field. Putra in third hasn't really had as much pace through the course of the weekend, but you can see with Van Erde making a slight mistake there just on the way through that final corner, and Van Erde just leaving his hand in the air as well. There's a crash in the background, and we'll just have to wait and see who's involved in that. But
I think it might be Boasi, one of the bikes down. And race control, yes, race control saying 5 and 17.
Sesawang as well, who crashed out in the opening lap yesterday. So Boasi, the home hero, he's out of this one. And as you can see, the 17, he crashed yesterday. And another crash today. Let's just have a look at the background and see what happens.
So 2 bikes much further ahead were having to stand up, and those 2 almost looked like they crashed on their own. There was a crash in sympathy. There was no contact between the 2, was there? Yeah, he drops it, then he drops it.
Yeah, just each rider just having their own accident. But you can see there from Boasi on the number 5, he's going to try and get going again. But at the front of the field, you can see here it's still Van Erde and Noguchi at the front. And then it's Putra in third position. Putra's been able to close that gap again.
Well, they've started to swap positions, the front 2, and that will slow them up, push them into the chasing 3 bikes. Noguchi now leads ahead of Bill Van Erde. They really need to think about what they were doing yesterday as Van Erde goes back up the inside. Every time they do this, it slows their pace and it pushes them into those 3 other riders to make a group of 5. And really, they just want to focus 2 laps, no overtaking, just scamper away from those chasing 3. Otherwise, the battle for the win becomes a 5-bike battle rather than a 2-bike battle. But really, I think now it is going to be 5 bikes, unless that second group can close in. Fackrell leads that second group ahead of Nishimura. Sender, Sharrell and Sao Lee are all part of that. Right then, 2 laps to go.
Yeah, the only way that second group comes back to this is if the front group really does start to fight and trip over one another. We've got a 5-bike fight for the win here with 2 laps to go. And it's still Van Erde leading the way on the number 19 bike. He's been really strong all the way down this straight and into turn 3. We've seen him make moves into turn 4 as well. So Van Erde looks like he's got a really good package underneath him as Mundenar tries to get down the inside. Not quite able to make that move stick, but he is at least able to defend, and he gets down on the inside. And Noguchi, good riding there from Mundenar.
Yeah, Putra was kind of in the middle ground there. He wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do, whether he wanted to jam it down the inside or want to take the racing line. He was kind of in no man's land, so he didn't really make an advantage at all. So it's the back of that field with Warwick with the white helmet behind him. And here comes Noguchi back up the inside at 4 to hit the front. Some good overtaking opportunity here into 5 though. Bill Van Erde does not take it. He stays in 2nd position. Mundenar in 3rd position. Now Warwick is up to 4th position. Putra drops to the back of this lead group. About 5.5 kilometres left of racing here in Thailand for these Asia Talent Cup riders. A third of the season will be done at the checkered flag, but still 2 more races to be had here in Buriram later on in the year. So much. Oh, big moment there from Warwick. He's had to get out the throttle, and it's now a 3-horse race at the front as they fan out towards turn 12. Who's going to take the advantage into the last lap? Bill Van Erde to the inside, but decides against the overtaking opportunity. It's going to be Noguchi, our race 1 winner, who leads over the line with 4.5 kilometres remaining. Bill Van Erde in 2nd position and Mundenar in 3rd.
Yeah, for Noguchi to be able to get to the front with that move in turn 4 again, where he got through on 2 riders, just shows how much confidence he's riding with at the minute. But Van Erde, he's on the run down into turn 3. This is where we've seen him really strong. If he can use that toe, but he doesn't even need the slipstream there from Noguchi. But if he can get that inside line, he should be strong on the brakes on the way into turn 3.
Watch Mundenar, watch Warwick. He's firing it up the inside with that white helmet. He's taken 3 positions. Oh, Bill Van Erde's been shoveled to the back. Oh, disaster there. Noguchi's now going to have a little bit of an advantage as we've got Warwick in 2nd. Noguchi's on the defensive on the white line on the inside. He's going to really square off this turn 4 if he ends up trying to take the corner there. And here comes Warwick, the Thai rider, round the outside on the 8 bike. Oh, but there's somebody right to the inside. Who was that? That was Putra right on the inside. Putra's going to have to fade back down into 5th position, and Noguchi holds back to the lead again. But Bill Van Erde is in 2nd position and a little slow through 6.
Yeah, Van Erde doing a really good job just to get through from 5th into 2nd again. And he'll try and make the move into the final corner. You'd imagine that's going to be the only opportunity to try and make a move on Noguchi. We saw yesterday Aji tried to do the same, and good move there from Warwick to get to the inside into P4. He's going to try and take 3rd now as well. But for Van Erde, he's going to try and do the same move that we saw yesterday from Aji. This is just on the run down into that final corner. He'll try and take that inside line and get through down the inside of Noguchi.
Let's see then, let's see. Noguchi leads towards the braking zone, goes super defensive. Here comes the late breaker, Putra on the 16 bike, and Bill Van Erde hits the front, but he's going to go wide. Oh, we've got one dropping in, it's side by side towards the line. They're elbowing each other towards the line. They both punch the air into light, as does Mundenar, I think, who is in 3rd position, but there's just 0.16 of a second separating those 3 riders, and Noguchi 5,000ths ahead of Bill Van Erde.
Yeah, and for Noguchi, we saw once again that last lap fight between himself and Van Erde. Van Erde's a man with no fear of going up against Noguchi. We saw it in Qatar last time around, but this time just not quite able to make the run on the exit of the corner. Great stuff from Noguchi, just like what we saw yesterday as well, Ben. Smart riding from Noguchi all the way through that race. It was Putra that crashed at the last corner. Disappointment for Putra, but he was at least able to get himself into the fight, and then clearly taking the approach that it's better to try that move rather than to spend the next couple of weeks wondering whether or not he would have been able to overtake and get onto the podium. But for Noguchi, this is 3 wins out of 4 races for the Japanese rider. Really strong start to the Asia Talent Cup Championship for him.
Yeah, and the one race that he didn't take victory, he was only fractions of a second behind and took 2nd position, and therefore a decent haul of points as well. It's weird that our graphics have not been able to catch up. Only Bill Van Erde has actually taken the checkered flag, and he was in 2nd position. There he is. I wonder how frustrated he will be with that. He did make that move to the inside, but he just squared off the corner too much, meant that the momentum was not there on the exit of the turn. And then there was all kinds of wiggling. Let's have a look then. Final corner, Van Erdijk runs a little bit deep. There's Putra firing enough to stage right. Elbow 1, elbow 2. It's like cycling racing. And that is a photo finish. Super, super close stuff.
Yeah, for Putra, we saw there just crashed on his own, really. He wasn't actually in a position to try and make the move for the podium, but probably just riding right at his limit to try and stay in that fight at the front. But for Noguchi, really clever riding to take this win once again. But Van Erde, impressive start to the season for the rookie. He's looked strong in Qatar and strong here as well. He's second in the standings. He'll be 25 points behind Noguchi, but it's been a good start to the year for Van Erde.
We did say of Putra that he was right on the ragged edge and right on the limit, firing himself down the inside at turn 3. He was going to do it again, wasn't he, at turn 12? He did, but he lost the front end and ended up on the floor. Frustration, but plenty of time to recover if any injuries have occurred, because the next race is in July. So they can be fighting fit, plenty of time to practice and to work out exactly what to do. Noguchi is the runaway leader of the championship with a 25-point gap over Van Erde. But considering this is his first season and he's fighting a man who's got a full year of experience, he's doing a great job, Bill Van Erde.
Yeah, especially when you consider that Noguchi last year only beaten by a point in this championship as well as a rookie. So he's been able to show what he can do in the past. So that's a solid effort from Bill Van Erde just to take the fight to him. And
onto the podium, the number 4 rider of Mundanar from Indonesia, one of our older riders, the Indonesian 18-year-old, and he gets the flag around his neck to take it up onto the podium. So therefore, we don't see any Thai riders on the podium, which is a big shame, because our wildcard rider, Warwick, was 4th at the end there, just missing out by 0.2 of a second on the podium. So he'll be a little frustrated with that, but I think he had to sit up when he saw Putra sliding down the inside on the tarmac in front of him, and therefore didn't and wasn't able to fight for a podium spot. So much smiles for our second place rider from Douglas, the Australian Bill Van Erde. I think, it's been hot work, that's for sure. Maybe slightly frustrated. Here it is again then. Bang! Elbow number 1, as we look at Putra getting slightly frustrated. Elbow number 1, elbow number 2, and that's what 0.05 of a second looks like. It's about the width of the tyre, I think, or even less than that.
It's as close as you're going to get for a race win here in the Asia Talent Cup, and really for the likes of Van Erde. As you said, he's got a few months now to think about what might have been, but he's had a strong start to the season. Hopefully the Australian can look back on these opening 4 races and just see how good of a job he's done to take that fight to Noguchi. But for Noguchi now, this really is the foundation of what you'd imagine is that championship charge for him. If you look over the last few years, you can see Nakamoto-san just looking on. But if you look back over the last few years, it really has been a case of whoever uses their experience is the man that makes it count in the Asia Talent Cup.
Well, that makes sense, because when you are starting your career, experience is so exponential. The curve of growing as a rider is so huge that the experience counts for a lot. So if anybody can come in as a rookie and challenge those super experienced riders, then that is very impressive. And therefore, you've got to look to people like Mario Aggi and Bill Van Erde and be impressed with how they're riding and how they're able to take the fight to Noguchi. Van Erde wasn't able to do it yesterday. He was in that second group that faded away. Some 14 seconds, I think, by the end. And whereas Aggi was there. But today was much more like we saw in Qatar race 2. A big group of 12 riders, but a couple of strong ones at the very front. Bill Van Erde and Noguchi were the 2. And a little bit of chatting going on between Bill. What a time of their lives. Be traveling around Asia, racing motorcycles on a world stage, world-class promotion and television, and also tuition from the whole of the Asia Talent Cup team, nutrition programs, fitness regimes, and these really are the stars of the future. Remember these names, because this championship's only been going 5 years, so it's still yet to get somebody to the very, very top in MotoGP, but we've got plenty of riders in Moto3 already after 5 seasons. And they'll be progressing further and further.
Yeah, when you look at the alumni of the Asia Talent Cup, the likes of Kaito Toba, Sasaki, Masaki, Norodin, they've all come through the ranks here, and as did Powie, of course, 2-time Grand Prix race winner, and a host of riders in the CEV Championship. It really has been a good grounding for all these riders, and when you see the likes of Nakamoto-san down here involved with this project, it really does just show the importance with which everyone places on this series, and also it gives all these riders the knowledge that what they're doing is being noticed by everyone else. They get full-time training, nutritionists, everything that you need for whenever you make the step over to Europe for the CEV Championships or to the Grand Prix classes. These riders have it from a young age, just that they're able to learn their trade in the best possible way.
Bill Vanerde at 15 years of age. Haruyuki Noguchi at 16 years of age. And our third place rider, Mundenar Afrizi, at 18 years of age. I said one of the older riders here, but still a rookie in the Asia Talent Cup. The riders then mount the podium. It's 4 podiums out of 4 races for Noguchi, just 1 off the top step of the podium. And as I said a little bit earlier, it was only thousandths of a second he missed out last time in Qatar. But now they have a bit of a big gap before the next race in the championship. They'll be heading to the Sepang circuit in Malaysia at the end of July. That'll be the next race for them. They'll race there 4 times as well, because they'll race there with MotoGP in November. And then they'll be on the MotoGP stage here in Buriram in October, and Motegi at the end of October, and then finishing their season in Malaysia. Japanese national anthem rings out over the Buriram circuit here in Thailand. There we go, next race in Malaysia, the 28th of July. If you're watching on any of our channels, make sure you join us for more incredible action. It might be the training ground of our future talent, but it's really, really entertaining racing as well. I hope you agree with that. Every single race we've had so far, whether it be in Qatar or here in Buriram, has been so very entertaining. So here, a look then at how it all panned out. Plenty of highlights for you to enjoy of this second race in Buriram. Going towards the first corner, as was in race 1, Sao Lee on the 23 bike, making a great start from the inside, but then losing momentum down the first straight towards the first big braking zone at turn 4. Big disappointment for Mario Aggi. The bike stalled on the grid, and then he did get it going, but it expired halfway round that first lap. Second in the championship, he'd take no points out of the second race. As the race wore on, it became clear that there were 2 men that were consistently at the front of the field, Bill Vanerde and Haruyuki Noguchi. Many came to play as well. There was the number 10 of Senda coming up the inside. But then, a couple of laps before the end of the race, some of our 12 leading contenders started to push over the limit. A couple of fallers, Senda and Barasi. We didn't see Nishimura fall, but he went down as well. And then as we got closer to the end of the race, the desperation came in Some super late braking from Mundanar and Putra on the 16 bike. Putra went too far by the end and went to the gravel trap. That was how close it was at the end. Noguchi takes victory ahead of Bill Venerde by absolutely nothing.